You'll never guess what I've been up to.
Watch this!
Good evening, Interworld. Sergeant Slack here from Banana Bomb Productions. It's been a long time. Not much has been happening for me gaming-wise for a while, but I have taken up a new hobby. And much like my Die of the Clicker series of videos, I've decided to sort of chart the path throughout this new hobby. I've been attending a Hema Fencing club. I've been to 4 sessions. 2, unfortunately, we're at the end of a 2-month training block on Montante, which is a big, like a Zweihander sword, or a Binnenhander, a big massive sword. They're about as tall as people. They're like 186 centimetres long. Fantastically great fun, which is one of the things I sort of wanted to get into it by. I've sort of on and off tried to join a Hema club over the last 2 or 3 years, but it's just not worked out with one thing and another. But then, having read the Berserk manga and got swinging his massive sword around, it gave me a bit more of a push to actually find a club, and I found a local club. But yes, like I say, I joined at the end of a 2-month block on Montante, which is the Gert Big Sword, which is kind of what I want to do, rather than look, because long swords aren't as long as you think, and broadswords are a complete misnomer in terms of sword stuff. But now I did 2 weeks of that. I've done 2 weeks now on the second week of Sabre, and much like Nick, one of my instructors, says, what you should be interdisciplinarian with Hema stuff, with fencing, swordplay, because one thing can teach you a bit about the other, and it can teach you a bit about yourself in terms of what you're learning. I was attracted by the Gert Big Swords, learned very quickly that I'm quite enjoying Sabre, and also learned that I've always sort of like squinted at like sabres with curved blades and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I've always kind of squinted at those and gone, it's not unrealistic, it's a bit naff. After just doing one session of the basic techniques and the way you sort of cut and thrust, or rather you do slicing cuts that follow through the body, then the curved blade makes a hell of a lot more sense than like a straight short sword that you see like Sword and Shield and that kind of stuff. So, thus far, it's relatively cheap barrier to entry in terms of you need a mask for about 60 quid, any old gloves, and the rest of the stuff you can borrow from the club, which is great. I have some welding gloves that I got that had a hole in, so they're no good for welding, but they're actually pretty good. They cover the hand and a lot of the wrist, and then I was busy and made myself a Montante, a foam Montante, and of course you need a fencing helmet, and then yes, the foam Montante, which I have made, which is humongous. It's basically 50mm electrical conduit with some outer of like 32mm insulation that I've then squozened down to give it a bit more firmness. It was firm stuff already, but the electrical conduit does mean it's a bit bendy and a bit sort of like, yeah. Hema Fencing, come join me on my stupid fucking journey. It's like a TED talk, but over like 6 years or something. See, it's actually, you can actually see quite a lot through them. It's quite impressive. Paint job on this one coming soon.